then thank you, and then we'll proceed to hear from others about their experiences. So give me a minute. So we are the Asia New Zealand Foundation, Te Whitau Tūhono. I'd like to start by putting in context really for why we focus on Asia. And I think for more and more people, it's becoming increasingly apparent that we are part of the Asia-Pacific region, or sometimes known these days as the Indo-Pacific region. And our present and our future are closer and closer connected to Asia, economically, culturally, geostrategically, and socially. So for a start, 60% of the world's population is in Asia. 10 of our 15 top trade partners are Asian markets, and 15% of New Zealanders now identify as being Asian. So Asia's becoming closer and closer to us. And we think that Asia will continue to be the region where growth and new ideas emerge. The point we often make is that even if you don't think you will have a career focused on Asia, at some point in your career, Asia will increasingly influence you. It could be the current digital currencies that are being trialed. It could be other tech developments up in Asia. It could be the way that consumers are accessing products. Asia is driving innovation and growth in so many ways that we feel all New Zealanders should be across this, even if it's just having it on your horizons in terms of your future career and focus. So that's where we come in. We were set up by the government in the 1990s, and we were set up in response to a specific opportunity and challenge. The government ministers at the time could see through their regular visits up to the region that Asia was on this incredibly steep growth curve and was going to continue like that for some time to come. So they could see the enormous opportunities that Asia was going to start to generate for New Zealand and New Zealanders. And back home felt, I think, that New Zealand was a little bit flat-footed in response. So people were aware that Asia was changing and changing fast, but they weren't really jumping for the opportunities. And the government began to get concerned that if we didn't do that, we would miss out. And other countries, other companies would get in quicker and position themselves better for the Asian century that is upon us. So we were established, and our mandate, our role, is to equip New Zealanders with the knowledge and understanding and the networks and the contacts and the overall confidence, really, to give Asia a go. We don't say that it has to be Asia and that New Zealand should drop all the other regions of the world. What we do say is don't put Asia in the too hard basket. It can look daunting, it can look a bit impenetrable, but it offers potential rewards that are well worth the effort of getting to know the region, and we're here to help New Zealanders to do that. So, as I said, established in the mid-90s, so we're got a long history now of doing what we do. We're quite unique in that we focus on all of Asia, and for us, Asia means everything from the Indian subcontinent through to the 10 Southeast Asian nations, through to North Asia, so China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, etc. We have 25 staff with offices in Auckland, Wellington, and I'm here in Christchurch. And our Māori name, Te Whitau Tūhono, means the unbreakable connection, which again reflects the kind of work and the kaupapa of the foundation. The gaps we're working to close still exist. We originally had the sort of sci-fi name Asia 2000 when we were set up, and that sort of reflected the idea that within 5 years the light bulb would be turned on with regards to New Zealanders connecting with Asia, and that we could pack up and go home. But the reality is that Asia continues to evolve so rapidly, and it's so diverse across many, many different markets that there's still plenty of work to do. We do research every year, and the research consistently tells us two things. One is that New Zealanders continue to assess Asia to be the second most important region of the world for New Zealand's future, second only to Australia, so ahead of the US and Europe and the Pacific and so on. And that awareness only increased since the advent of COVID last year. But the same research also tells us that New Zealanders feel they don't have a lot of knowledge and confidence to engage with Asia. So they feel more confident engaging with Australia and the US and Europe and the Pacific, and then Asia is a distant fifth place. So that's, again, the gap that we work to close through the programs that we run. One of the issues we come across is that a lot of New Zealanders know some of Asia, but there's a lot of Asia. So our research tells us that there's a big focus on North Asia, for example. And when you consider, the importance of the China market and other North Asian markets to our economy, you can see why that's the case. But we also spend a lot of time introducing Southeast Asia and South Asia and the Indian subcontinent. We also find that Kiwis love and know a lot about some parts of Asia and not some things in Asia and not other things. So consistently, we're told that the number one passion for New Zealanders when it comes to Asia is food. And I think we can all understand why. Travel to the region has definitely increased. I think about 1/4 of all Kiwis have now made a trip to the region one way or the other. But when it comes to other aspects of Asia, knowledge reduces very sharply. So, how much, for example, how many news reports coming out of Asia do we really see? How much Singaporean reporting or Vietnamese reporting or South Korean reporting? What do we know about Asia tech developments, for example? What about Asian sports? There are a lot of gaps in our knowledge, and we try and fill those because we think the more you know about Asia, the more confident you're going to be and more passionate about exploring opportunities. So that brings us to our 9 core programs, and they're there on the screen for you. We are going to talk about the 2 that are highlighted in red. But just for your info, we have a lot of others as well. So our arts program is focused on bringing contemporary Asian art in front of New Zealanders. You may know some large events like the Lantern Festival in Christchurch, for example, or Diwali. In many cases, our foundation was behind the initial push to get those established as annual events on the calendar. But we also bring in performers and art exhibitions as well. We have an education program focused on school level. We run entrepreneur exchanges between New Zealand and Southeast Asia, and they're very popular for startups and early revenue companies that want to get a taste of Asia and haven't necessarily been there before. Our media program offers opportunities for journalists and journalism students, so a little bit separate from our business internships, but the same concept of being able to be placed with a newsroom somewhere in Asia for a few months. We have an active research program, and all our research is available on our website. And we even have a sports program where sports people traveling to Japan, for example, can add on a couple of days of cultural experience, and we will fund that and help them to develop that so that they can really appreciate Asia before they come home. Another website that I've put there is another aspect of our work. The Asia Media Centre is staffed by 3 former journalists, and they are responsible for curating a very wide range of media articles on Asian issues and writing some articles themselves. So if you're at all interested in Asia from a point of view of your studies, I really highly recommend that website. It's designed for journalists, but it is public, and I think it's a real undiscovered part of the foundation's work that you might find useful. So on to the guts of tonight's presentation. Thanks for your patience. Our internship program. This is one of the flagship parts of our business program, and we're very proud of the way that we've developed it over the years. It's been running for about 10 years, and it's really increased in scale over the last 2 to 3 years. So the purpose of the Asia Business Internships, usually, I'll talk about them before COVID, and then I'll go on to explain what we're doing during COVID. But the purpose is twofold, really. Of course, we want interns to have a really solid professional experience and gain work experience. But also, the feature of our program is that we send our interns to Asia. So you are placed with an Asian company in the market, or with a New Zealand company with an Asian presence, or in some cases, other organizations. And these are normally run right across Asia. We send people from Mumbai to Jakarta, to Seoul, to Shanghai, to Manila, and many other cities as well. They're usually three months, and the foundation covers all costs and pays a grant to ensure that interns are not out of pocket. Now, obviously, during COVID, that's not been possible, which has been a great sadness for all of us. But what we did after some thinking about it was develop an online internship program instead. So we still offer internships with Asian companies, but the interns remain in New Zealand and do that work online, virtually, with their hosts. So on the one hand, you could say, well, what's the point if we can't get to Asia? But what we found last summer when we started doing this was it's still an incredibly valuable way to get international work experience on your CV. Interns tell us that when they apply for jobs and they've got something that's a little bit out of the ordinary on their CV, that employers zero in on that and will ask you about that and want to know, hey, how did you get to Manila? Or what were you doing in India? And it just helps to give an edge. And of course, it also still gives you a lot of that knowledge accumulation and getting to grips with the business culture of an Asian market and the overall culture of Asian people in a different way. So we're offering a series of paid virtual internships over the coming summer. We have about 12 opportunities that we're advertising all up. These are New Zealand based, but we will supplement them with some cultural competency training. That will be both formal training, and you'll gain a qualification at the end of that, which you can also put on your CV. And we'll also try some informal connections. If you're working with an Indian company, we'll try to connect you with the Indian community in New Zealand, get you along to an Indian festival or a meal with an Indian family, and so on. So we'll do whatever we can to simulate that experience of being immersed in the culture in which you're working. There's often a misconception that our business internships must be for business students. But in fact, we offer opportunities across a really wide range of sectors, and I've listed them there in the slide, all the way from law to biotech to software development and future food. So do encourage anyone, any of those areas advertised, to have a look and see if there's something for you. The markets this year that we're working with are listed there as well. So there's 5 main markets, and again, hopefully something for everyone. The key thing at the moment is that applications for these internships are open now. They opened a couple of weeks ago. The first ones will close at the end of August, and there'll be a couple that close at the start of September. So if you are interested in exploring these opportunities, I'd recommend having a look on our website now. That is the general website address, and this is the specific page for the internships, and the QR code, if you can scan that off your screen, that will take you straight through to the placements that we have listed at the moment. So I will take a break at this point, and I'll keep that QR code on just for another couple of minutes while I introduce Ethan. So Ethan was lucky enough to participate in one of our internships when we were still sending people to Asia, and of course we'll do that again in future. Ethan went to Vietnam with KPMG, but beyond that, I'll let Ethan introduce himself, and I'll be back in a few minutes to carry on with my presentation. Thanks very much, Ethan.
Awesome, thank you, Alistair. So as Alistair mentioned, I'm Ethan, and I had the opportunity to go to Vietnam to work at KPMG in Ho Chi Minh City a couple of years back, or a year and a bit back. And so yeah, my experience was working in the transfer pricing team within KPMG. My background for study is accounting. So I didn't really think I would have much of a connection as per se to Asia. But after stumbling across the Asia New Zealand Foundation and seeing the opportunities that they provided, I could see that there were some pretty cool opportunities to actually go to Asia and actually use my experience that I had learned at university in terms of accounting to go apply it over there. So myself and another girl, you can see at the top of one of those slides there, Keely, we got to go to Ho Chi Minh City. We got to work there within their office in the real central part of Ho Chi Minh City. So we got to basically be in the heart of it all. And next to us there, we have Warwick Klein, who's the CEO over there. So we had some pretty cool opportunities while we were over in Vietnam, like meeting with the CEO. We got to meet quite a lot of pretty cool people. We got to meet the ambassador to New Zealand and Vietnam over there as well. So yeah, while we were over there, some of the things that I learned about the people were that, and something that if you got one of these maybe virtual internships that you might find as well, is that the people are really friendly. So often there is a bit of misconception around, how different cultures can, interact with each other. But the thing is, it all boils down to a common connection. And really often it can be over food, for example, as Alistair said, like a lot of the people a lot of Kiwis, for example, connect with Asia in food. So you can see there, and throughout my slides, the food's a really important part of being in Vietnam. And it's also about the social aspect. So they're really big about the social side of things. And once you get to know people, their walls kind of break down a bit, and you get to know them really well, and they open themselves up really well to you. So that's one of my best friends now, Mary, who actually lives in Vietnam, and myself and Keely, we still keep in good contact with her. So these experiences that you have, you'll make, even if it be virtual, you'll make lifelong friendships. And that's something really cool about the foundation, and they give you these opportunities to go and meet people. And throughout the internship program or throughout the whole foundation, it's all about connection. And that's kind of one of the main key aspects. Whilst you are applying your skills and experience from university, it's also really important to be able to connect with people. And so often it is finding that common ground. So yeah, the people over there I've also found are very work oriented. In Vietnam, they often took little naps during the day because they were working quite long days. So they would often sleep on the desk or have a nap towards the end of the day or midday, because they would often be working quite long hours. So they're really work orientated, and they're really keen to do a good job, and to make sure that they set really high standards. And that was really evident through the work that I was able to be a part of. And so yeah, the social life, well, in the weekends, that's really important as well. So I think that's something that you can always keep in mind, is that the people that you would be working with, possibly on the virtual internships, you can also connect with beyond that. It doesn't just have to be work, it doesn't have to just be work orientated. Try to make a connection and try to possibly, if they have a New Zealand base, possibly try to see what else you can do around that as well. So yeah, Vietnam itself is a very fast-paced sort of city, and the program itself, while Keely and I got to actually go to Vietnam, it was quite cool that we could actually also travel, and you can see we got to go to Malaysia and Singapore as well. That will obviously start back up when COVID permits, but even if you just get this opportunity to have the virtual internship, it gives you a greater understanding of all of those things, the social life, the culture, the work, and the sort of business relationships that people have. And that's the key things to actually going to Asia, because it's going to make you feel more comfortable, like Alistair said, and you're going to be able to immerse yourself really well within Asia. Back to you, Alistair.
Cool, thank you, Ethan. Yeah, great to see those pictures. And again, I guess one of the silver linings of the internship program that we're running this year is it is virtual and online, so it will carry on come what may over the summer. And I think this week's been another reminder that things are still pretty unstable. We found last year a lot of our applicants had been lined up for an in-person internship over the summer, and that all fell about their ears, and they were desperately looking for a chance to still have a work experience in any way they could. And so we had lots of applicants saying they'd missed out and would love to do an internship with us. So, you know, there will still be, this will still go ahead come what may. A lot of parts of Asia, as you know, are really responding well to COVID. A lot of businesses are operating back as normal now. So it's a great opportunity to have something locked in that will not be affected by a change in alert levels in New Zealand over the summer period. I'm now going to switch and start talking about our second program, which is also just about to open for applications. And that's very much more of a New Zealand-based program. And so the opportunities that it offers will be immediate and will continue right the way through the COVID period. So we operate what we call the Leadership Network. And it's a leadership development program for young New Zealanders who want to learn more about Asia and have a desire for Asia to be at least a partial focus of what they do in future. They understand the importance of the region, they want to skill up on it and want to become Asia-savvy professionals. You don't need to be Asia experts to get into the Leadership Network, because that's what we're there to do. There's no entrance exam with a geography test or anything like that. What we are looking for is young emerging leaders who have proven leadership credentials and want to continue developing those. So you may be a leader in your university context in terms of being president of a club. You might be a business person or entrepreneur. You might be a leader in your iwi or in your community in some other way as a volunteer. Anything that shows that you've got the X factor and that you're going to be a leader of the future. The people that come through our network, our goal, our vision for them is that they will be the next generation helping to lead the New Zealand-Asia relationship. So we're really excited about this program. It's been running for many, many years, and we've had some incredibly talented people come through. And I think the networking with other members of the network is probably even more important than the opportunities that we offer. Getting to know these young people who are like-minded, similar to yourself, working in all sorts of different areas, that's an incredible professional resource that you'll have for your life. So in terms of what the Leadership Network offers, there are about 400 members globally, and at any one time, maybe 25% of those will be based offshore. The remainder are generally based in New Zealand. So we offer some fairly orthodox leadership development opportunities, such as mentorships. We run a number of onshore hui to talk about leadership issues and strengthen aspects of your leadership skill set. But I guess, again, the unique part of the Foundation's leadership program is that we also take groups of members offshore into Asia to different places for different meetings and discussions. We organize some of these trips, but you can also apply for travel grants to go and do these trips yourself or with a small number of fellow members. We offer a lot of access to visiting Asian leaders as well. Sometimes it can be really valuable having some face-to-face time with thought leaders from around the region. We offer subsidies to attend major conferences, anything that we can do really to help you with your mission to strengthen your knowledge and networks and confidence to engage with Asia. So applications for the program for this year are starting next week. We run a system where, although we have 400 members at any one time, we graduate maybe 30 a year and we bring in 30 more. We find that once you get beyond maybe 40 years old, you've probably extracted all the value you can get from being a member. But you know, many of our members are in the network for over a decade before that time happens. We generally open up applications for 20 to 30-year-olds. So certainly we've had many students come in the past, but we also have people coming in as young professionals or even as mid-career professionals. Basically under 30 is absolutely fine. So my next presenter, Jenny, is a member of the network, and I think she's going to talk about her experiences as a network member. But also, as I said, Jenny is currently working with ADB in Manila, and so is basically doing exactly what an Asia Business Internship does, except she's a permanent staff member with the ADB. She's working remotely with a team up in Manila while being based here. So Jenny may want to talk to us a little bit about that from the perspective of Asia Business Internships as well. So I will stop sharing the screen, and Jenny, do you want to see if you can share?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I would just
I think I need to make you co-host, Jenny.
Okay.
Let me just.
Well, why don't I put Jenny's presentation up?
Okay.
And cool. And I can maybe control the PowerPoint.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that sound all right?
Yep, that sounds great.
Cool.
Well, while Alistair is starting to put the slide up, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenna Chu. I study engineering and law at University of Auckland, and I'm now currently based in Christchurch. I'm working from home, as Alistair mentioned, for over about a year and a half now, probably. I think I'm currently working in a pretty interesting work, which is on infrastructure project in developing contexts. Prior to moving to Asia, which I'll talk about, I've been working on infrastructure project in New Zealand for over 10 years. That's a photo of me last wearing high vis and hard hat and steel cap boot working on site in the tunnel project in Auckland. And it's really excited to be able to apply those engineering skills and legal skills from here to help people in Asia and Pacific in the developing economies. And I guess for me, it's quite a personal, creative and innovative endeavors that create opportunities for people, and it will enhance community and last for many generations. So that is my work in Asian Development Bank at the moment on procurement of infrastructure projects across over 30-40 countries in those particular regions. When I was working in Asian Development Bank in Asia, which is based in Manila, my area of covers in China, some of the countries in Mekong region, which I will still cover and have been covering in here from Christchurch. And I really have to credit to Asian New Zealand Foundation for a lot of the opportunities that I have been able to get access to, the support and connections that I was able to tap in through my journey as a member of the Leadership Network, which I joined since 2013. And that was maybe when I started working as a young graduate. So I think you're very lucky that you get to hear about this now, and then potentially consider to apply to be a member of this, I guess, wonderful network, which I really think will enhance your career and my open the horizon it has done to me as well. So over the next few minutes, I think I'll just sort of quickly go through some of the opportunity that I was able to tap into as part of the network. So since after joining in 2013, I've attended a number of hui, which is a mini conference and gathering in different parts of the New Zealand, and meet other people in the network in Wellington, in Christchurch on different topics. And they've got guest speakers coming in, and there's like workshops and discussion, but also lots of opportunity to connect through really good food and other outings as well. In 2015, I applied and got selected to go along with a group of science and technology related teachers from New Zealand to Japan to attend the Tokyo Science and Technology Forum. It was about a week-long journey where we got to visit the school in Japan, understanding how education system work there in relation to science technologies, but also visited a lot of really cool museum, looking at how robotic works, visiting some of the telecommunications, creative thinkings, also some of the explore some of the cultural components, like visiting a fish market, learning how to make fox food that's on display, and also got to visit the Japan Rail exhibition hall and witness the testing of a new Shinkansen model that goes beyond 500 kilometers per hour, which is pretty awesome. And also look at the space rocket museum and see how Japanese astronaut was, the life is in the space, and linking it back to maybe how some of these way of exhibiting science technology can be transferred back to the New Zealand education system. Then next slide, another opportunity that I got access to is through the travel grant that Alistair mentioned before in 2017 and 2018, where I planned and organized 2 delegations to visit China on infrastructures related topic, which is actually where I first met Alistair in Chengdu when he was working there for MFAT. And in that journey, we got to visit a lot of the not only state-owned enterprise on what they are doing in terms of grand scale of infrastructure that they're building, water, tunnel, also the use of high voltage transmission line across a vast amount of space through the state grid system, but also seeing how maybe China is a country that is not only relying on import of foreign technology, but it's also in itself a global powerhouse of technology that's in its own right. In particular, there's also a lot of cultural exchange through the visit of the likes of former residents of Reverie Alley, which was Christchurch, born New Zealanders who spent a lot of his time in China and building a lot of connections there, getting first-hand experience in a grand scale model of the whole city of Shanghai and Qingdao, and then riding along is bus rapid transit system, and also listening to some of the researchers and government representatives on what their future thinking and plans are for promoting renewable energy and also public transport. So I think those are a topic that is quite interesting to this particular group. And I think a really good thing about this initiative is you can propose your own projects that is beneficial to your interests and your career. And I find that the foundation has been extremely helpful to provide access to the related expert in the field in the country, and also provide financial support as well in terms of visiting those places. Next slide. And recently in 2019, I got invited to attend a track 2 program, which is a bit of an unofficial diplomacy dialogue with researchers, with people from different interest groups, civil society, on a particular topic related to the Asia. The particular forum that I attended was held in Thailand, and it was around the future development related issues in the Mekong region. And before I attended the Track 2 program, I thought, oh, it's probably a program that is normally maybe relevant only to like law student or policy related sort of researchers, but me as a person who's mainly working in infrastructure, how might that be related? But I think there's other people in the group that's working in things like business and geothermal development, and the topic was related to environmental impact of the development in Mekong, and how I guess New Zealand's model of how we respect biodiversity can be applied over there as well, and what might be the opportunity between New Zealand and Mekong in that, from that perspective. So I think maybe another note I would add is that some of these opportunities really open to people from a very diverse background. So just keep an eye out of the internship opportunity and other opportunity for the leadership members, because it's really going to open the doors for many connections and many opportunity to further your I guess development. Next slide, please. And one particular interesting experience that I got to tap into as part of my journey in this network is attending an offshore hui in Manila with others leadership members network in 2018, and that was a pretty interesting experience where we started off the trip with a bike ride around the old city of Manila with bike that is built by bamboo, which is run by a local social enterprise. And that person has been, I think, hosted by the foundation to visit New Zealand before, and then he was able to host us when we were visiting Manila. He gave us a guide around the old city with this bamboo-made bike, and then after the journey of, I guess, going around the old cities of Manila and seeing how the influence of Spain colonization has in its architectures and placemaking. The next day we attended some briefing by the New Zealand ambassador to the Philippines, and also briefings by some political scientists and economic professors on I guess the current issues and affairs and related opportunity and challenges. Then we visited some other social enterprise making clothing and other products from a recycled textile. And one other part of this journey is we're able to organize our own activities according to our own interest area. With my interest in development, I got to organize a visit to Asian Development Bank, which I got to, I guess, experience firsthand and hear from people about what they are doing, and then that led to my, I guess, applications of my current job, and I was fortunate enough to get that. Some other people visited an orphanage and children's NGO, and some other people visited a National Disaster Risk and Reduction Management Council. So, so I think that just highlight a different form of opportunity that the leadership can offer, and how you might be able to link it to your own career development. Next slide. So since joining ADB, I have been in Asia for working from Manila for about a year until returning to New Zealand, back home here in the middle of last year due to COVID. And then I've been working from home remotely since then. But thanks to, I think, the experience and exposure developed over time, was able to, I guess, build on those relationship credits that was established to work remotely through pretty much looking at a tiny hole every day, talking to people. And I think with the right setup, if you're considering applying for the business internship program with the foundation, it's definitely a very worthwhile experience, because this is a really safe and well-supported environment for you to try how to work with Asia virtually, with extra support on those cultural competency training, but also getting to experience maybe some of the nuance of what might be something that we might take for granted working in New Zealand, such as giving time for translation if you are meeting with people who speak different languages, considerations of time zone differences when you're working also across different time zones. But I think the internship experience with the support of the foundation is definitely a very worthwhile experience for you to explore, and that will be very valuable to, I guess, your resume and yeah, your own extension of horizon as well. So I will stop here. All the best for your application, and I hope to see some of you maybe in the future event. Thank you.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, Jenny. So look, that was our presentation. I want to put one more slide up just to show you how you can connect with us on social as well, because that's another great way of keeping in touch with the foundation. It gives you obviously tip-offs of when application dates are opening and that kind of thing. But as I say, internships are open now. And the other applications for the Leadership Network will be next week. So I'll put those up. These are a great way of keeping in contact with us on social media. So at this stage, that's the formal part of our presentation, with huge thanks to Ethan and Jenny for sharing their experiences. And obviously, we'd be more than happy between us to answer any questions that anyone has.
Thank you so much, Alistair. Thank you also, Ethan and Jenny. Hugely helpful and some wonderful information that you've shared. No one has put any questions up in the chat box at the moment, but if you do have a question, perhaps if you'd like to unmute, you're very welcome to do that now.
This is always the sign of a good presentation, I feel, when there's no question left unturned.
I have to say, Alistair, you have covered off a lot, and it has been very, very informative. So oh, here we go.
Yeah, I've got one question. This sounds really awesome. I'm just reading out a bit about you guys, and thought it was really cool. I find the Leadership Network very, very appealing, and I find that I meet all of the criteria, except I just turned 31. So what does that mean? Is it kind of like a 30 is the cutoff, or should I still apply? And if I still meet particular criteria, is there still worth a shot, or is it kind of no?
Sure. Look, I think the age limit or the age bracket is a general guide. Just to give a flavour, you know, I don't run the program, but if you are interested, I would definitely give it a go. I mean, as I say, we have members who remain members up until, you know, almost the age of 40. So I don't think you know, the specific barrier of one birthday should hold you up from at least exploring it. There are many other ways to connect with our foundation as well. We offer opportunities all the way through. In the business program, for example, mid-career professional development, we work with CEOs and board governors as well. So there is something for everyone. But in terms of the leadership network, yeah, give it a go and good luck.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Alistair, we have a question from Lucy. She's asking if the internships are full-time or can they be done part-time alongside studying?
Sure. Yes. Obviously, usually for a full internship, they are full time. But for our virtual internships, recognizing the sort of mental pressure of sitting working remotely with a team on a different part of the world, generally speaking, the commitment is 20 hours a week for an 8-week period. So we certainly have had virtual interns last summer that were also doing a summer semester and also managing to handle the virtual internship too. So I think it was busy. I think it was quite a full summer for that particular person. But yes, it's not a 40-hour-a-week commitment, for example.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions, please?
Hi, I have one question.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Panda, and for the internships, I've just checked on your website, and there's like a lot of internship options. Just wondering, so are we allowed to apply for multiple ones, or just like 1 or 2 internships at the same time?
Sure. Look, we've already had applications this year from the same applicant for more than one opportunity, and I think absolutely, like any job application or internship application, if you feel that it's more than one that you'd like to apply for, then that's absolutely fine. We'd have a look at each application on its merits for each position, and wish you the best of luck.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Anyone else with a question?
Hi, so I noticed that on the website it says that the internships have a flexible start date. So I already have an internship this summer, thankfully, but I did notice it says flexible start date November to February. So would it be possible to begin it in February? Like, is that common, or is that sort of, would that be a difficulty in the process?
Sure. Well, firstly, congrats on getting something lined up already. That's brilliant. Yeah, in terms of what we've advertised, yes, obviously they're 8-week internships, and we've advertised them between the period sort of November to February, because we realize that each intern will have to work with their host to find a mutual time when it suits both sides for the internship. In terms of actually starting in February, and that would be sort of February, March, perhaps, or March, April, something like that. I mean, a lovely thing about the foundation is we're inherently flexible, and we perhaps don't have the same rigid framework that some other organizations might have. So I think the general answer in response to your question is it would be something that would be worked out directly between the intern and the host, with the support of our foundation for the applicants that are successful.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Alistair, I'm assuming that if students do have another question for you, that they're able to contact you directly or via me.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously our email and phone details are on the website, and I'm pretty sure that Ling's details, our internship program coordinator, they appear on the advertisements for each placement as well. And yeah, we absolutely would welcome follow-up queries if something occurs to people after today's presentation. We're always happy to hear from people. We've been receiving quite a few emails recently with inquiries about different aspects. So yeah, please keep us in mind.
That's wonderful. So look, I'd like to say thank you again to Alistair, to Ethan, to Jenny and to Ling for being available this evening. And thank you to you, the students as well, for coming tonight, and lovely to have you all on board. So I wish you a very good evening, and please do contact the foundation if you have questions, and contact UC Careers if we can support you in any way with your applications.
And thank you, Robin. Thank you very much for organising this opportunity for us, and also to Ethan and Jenny for giving up your time to share your views tonight. Really appreciate it as always. And yeah, we look forward to keeping in touch with everyone.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thanks again, Robin. See you soon.
Thank you.